Alright, we'll look at... I mean, France can just punch anybody, except for, I guess, the Ottomans. Because they have their 1,000 development. And so, yeah, Spain in trouble. Alright, Aragon, let's see, Arcanus at war with Ethiopia. Alright, so we do have a war in Africa between Oman, Karakoyololi, and Ethiopia, probably for some expansion or land or... Ooh, we have some territories here, yes. So a few different wars happening all at once. And no surprise, Calico got an aggressive player to sub in for them. Ah, okay, so yeah, that would be... There we go. So are we going to be looking at a potentially very aggressive France in today's playthrough? Aggressive France slapping Spain, just... And, I mean, France is like the fourth? What? Okay. So France is punching. I think they have the manpower, though, so, wow. Okay, yeah, so France, I mean, realistically, they just have so many French people that they need to export them into other countries by military force. They've got the manpower, they have the replenishment. France can fight these wars. I mean, let's look around. You've got Spain just out of people. You have Great Britain. They can replenish. You have the Ottomans. They aren't even at that level of France. You have the manpower of all these nations. France is that power to keep an eye on. It looks like there is a nice balance. I don't know. It must not be a nice balance of power if Europe is collapsing. But it looks like the war with Bohemia is over. They're back down to just 3 provinces. Austria taking that opportunity to just step in and liberate some more lands for themselves. Give themselves a little hat. They are the hat of Italy, and they want a little German hat as well. So they're going to try and get one, it looks like. Trier, Cologne, Netherlands, a nice little trio there. Although, let's look at, do they like each other? They love each other. It is a nice central western pact. Sort of a West Germany with Venetian ties. And France is tied into that as well. I mean, you've got to be feeling good if France has your back in this playthrough right now. And if you're everyone else, you're probably not wary of France. I think like the East is locked down and is definitely in a good place. Like France can't challenge them. Great Britain has got Denmark as an ally and Florence, which France is seeing Florence as an ally. So I'm sure there's no animosity whatsoever between France and Great Britain. French dev is all France's dev, but the Great Power list for Spain is like 1/4 colonies. Ooh, yeah, let's look at that. So yeah, the Mughals, they've got their own development. So the Mughals are huge, they are powerful, and they can probably take on people. Let's look. They... Okay, I think, yes, that just means France is the supreme fighting force. If you have a war and you have France on your side, you're not gonna, you can fight a war of attrition. France has got those people. Then you have the Ottomans, mainly their own development. Great Britain, mainly their own development. France, mainly their own development as well. So that's pretty good. Really strong nations. But then, yeah, then you go down to Spain. They're relying a lot on their subjects for I think they were the kind of the weak link there, and that weak link is in trouble. Now the question is, what is this war being fought for? I think, can we look at that? I hope that's something we can look at. The French reconquest of Roussillon. And so yeah, we do have the poll is in France's favor. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. God, I'm gonna just remembering like what side am I looking through, which. So yeah, Spain, their war exhaustion, bad. So that's gonna be interesting. Wonder if Bussy will fight Britain in India. Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, you have the Mughals. I'm sure they can come to some arrangement as long as there aren't overlapping agendas. And even then, before such, I mean, there's a lot of AI opportunities to expand. and a lot of player opportunities to expand. The Dutch continue to oven these Indians, and the British are well positioned to expand in any direction. In India, the Mughals can come in and expand before there's any animosity between the British and the Mughals. It looks like their war with China continues. Their aim is the conquest of Khotan. Alright, and they are winning that war, with Prussia as their ally. And of course we have small little Bohemia just being destroyed by the second Austrian conquest of Landshut. Alright, so yeah, I'm surprised that the Florence Night War... I guess we're on speed 2 now, so never mind. I'm not too surprised that that war isn't over yet. Oh, there's a lot of back and forth. Alright, what's happening? You have Mantua controlled. So this is from Florence's perspective. They're the ones trying to capture some lands, probably. Let's see, the conquest of Messina. Oh yes, okay, so they're trying to grab some Sicily. But, oh, okay, Venice has entered the war on their side, against them, and Venice is now a major player in this conflict. Alright, so Florence, not feeling so hot, or feeling very hot, it depends. Sometimes feeling hot is bad. In this case, they're being crushed by the Venetians. And I'm surprised that the Mughals are top now. I mean, that's the thing. That's the question. If they have to expand into Russia, that's going to be very interesting. I think it's just, if you're this size, you're going to be doing great regardless. And I know there's a mod on that means you can't invest monarch points to develop. And that's just to make sure people can't jump ahead in institutions, I assume. I think that's the main reason. And so, the development you have is the development you get. So it will be interesting to see how that affects this playthrough. By the way, as far as I know, there are no observer restrictions, so feel free to look at anything. Oh, great, okay. I knew that, like, sometimes there are restrictions. I know there were on, like, the Hearts of Iron game. Well, then I want to look at France. France is just powerful. Alright, so let's look at their ideas. I imagine, yeah, quality, quantity, economic, innovative. So you're getting all these huge, like, tradition. They've got national manpower. That's why their manpower is just massive. They've got discipline plus 5%. If we look at their military, huge army tradition. Morale is strong for this early in the game, 6.4. Oh, I mean, not... It gives them an advantage over a few of the other nations. Oh, yeah. Alright, the Ottomans, I think, trying to rely on professionalism to make up for some of their other deficits. But yeah, that French army bouncing around the land limit. Very strong position there. Navy, not so much. And that's where the British... That's okay, I think that's where the British can kind of look at the rest of Europe and say, and avoid too much... Oh, you do not want to be a member of the Spanish Navy at the moment. And the Netherlands doing pretty well in terms of great on army tradition. And heavy on the mercs, I bet. And yeah, they're out of mercs there, so there you go. Alright. And let's see. The Knights have a great navy, or at least they did at the start of the war. So there's a great question. Where are the Knights? Aha. Oh, alright, so yeah, they were sieged down. Looks like Spain is going to help them, even if they can't help them, can't help themselves, but they're doing the best that they can with what they have at their disposal, which is pain and stuff. Alright, so yeah, the Knights, let's take a look at their military, and then compare them against Florence. So yeah, alright tradition, a bit low, pretty solid navy morale, at least. They don't quite have a direct advantage anymore. It looks like maybe they've lost their advantage, although they maybe have some ideas to help make up for it. Oh, navy force limit. So okay, they do have a higher force limit for their navy. The size of their navy is their huge advantage on size. In this case, size could matter. It does look like they control the Mediterranean and are trying to keep the not Floridians, the Florentines. Excuse me. Knights don't have an army anymore. And that one on their starting territory. Oh, and you have Tunis and Spain staring each other down across the desert. And we've got gold mine from McClam. Alright. Now who is... McClam is France. Oh! Alright. France has gobbled up a punching deep into the, it's like it is the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. France has just reached into Spain and pulled out Spain's beating heart and showed it in front of Spain, and then it caught fire and Spain's like, oh! So that is debilitating. The overextension is going to be quite extensive, but this is incredible. And welcome, NeuralNet. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, it's yes. I guess it is. Yeah, for you all in Europe, it is mid-afternoon-ish. Yeah, right. Late afternoon, I think. And here is. I went to it was like a fundraiser party, but then they had like a crazy rave thing after. It was like jazz fusion is how I'd describe the music, not knowing what it actually was called. And so that was difficult to try and dance to, but I think I got it. But then I didn't get home till like 12:30, so I was like, oh god. And then slept for 6 hours. That was good. And why are you in observer mode? I am the observer, yes. Alright, so we have waiting for hot joining players. Excellent. Oh, yes. Alright, who's going to be jumping in? Oh. Alright, a lone woot. Is that a multiplayer game? It is. It is, yes. It is the Mordred Viking. I think it's the Mordred Viking's community, or they maybe have a group and he's just been commenting on it. But he has a long-running kind of... I think it's their community clash. Their multiplayer, and so I'm covering for him. I think he's on a fun, hopefully a fun trip. Hopefully it's a good trip. It's the I should probably throw in Mordred Viking Community Clash multiplayer into the title. So I think I'll do that really quick instead of just like guest commentator Community Clash multiplayer. I'll have Mordred Viking Community Clash multiplayer. There we go. That will they'll hopefully they'll make it more more clear. There we go. And that's an ambitious land grab. I think we have a very, very ambitious France right now. If we look at overextension, 91%. Yeah, but they've already got cores working. So France is just like, boom, this is mine. It's going to be mine forever. And they've released Catalonia. We finally have Catalonian independence. Aragon still exists. Great Britain dominating the Mediterranean. Maybe they've got some kind of a nice deal there of like, you get the Mediterranean, I get the world. But we can check back in the Indian Wars. And... ooh, who are you? Alright, we have Jharkhand, who is allied. Are they at war with the... I bet yes they are. Alright, so the Dutch must take on another player, enters the game. But, I mean, it looks like they're winning. So, the Dutch continue to dominate this war. And looking at that war score... They want to take Salavata, they're gonna take Salavata. The question is, at what point do they just not lament, but give in? Maybe they're hoping that another nation will intervene on their behalf, on the Indian nation's behalf. Although they do have some rebels that could potentially help them out by... I mean, the Dutch will be able to take them down, but... And maybe the Dutch are gonna run out of manpower. That's another big question. We can take a look. I mean, they're out of manpower. And the Netherlands are out of manpower. So they're both out of manpower. So the war could turn if they can find a way to take out some of these Dutch forces. So there you go. So yeah, it's not all over yet. And I'm sure the Dutch player is trying to help them find a deal that they can't refuse. Ooh, looks like we do have some wars in the north. But is it AI? It is Britain. Great Britain marches again to seize more AI land. Alright. It's a harsh peace with France and Spain. It is very harsh. And the question is then, where will other... Whoa, okay, Prussia is raising forces. But they're not... I mean, they're at war with me. But it makes you wonder, are we looking at a build-up in Europe? Oh, and Austria got their hat. Okay, so the Austria now has a nice little hat. They almost look like a like a bullpup, or whatever those called, bullpup rifles or something. I'm not a gun person, but that's just what that reminds me of. Or I don't know, it's like one of those not Shawshank, whatever the things that you look at, Rawshank, Shank, I don't know, the things that you see and you're like, what do you see? I see an Austria resurgent. Austria and Prussia, always best friends, never enemies. And is Vahe a player? Yes, so yes. Let's kind of look over the players again. Oh, Bengal is now a player. Alright, so that's the new person that jumped in, or new to the current session. And we'll see what they're up to. They're jumping it, they're just loading in on it. So, alright, that is pain. They're just jumping in on the side of the Netherlands. So, Netherlands able to utilize divide and conquer tactics, work with another player, get Bengal, take out this Indian nation, split the rewards. That also then builds them up as a countervailing force to British expansion. And so, yeah, we have player movement, the kind of diplomatic situation in South Asia, in the Indian subcontinent. You do have, oh, Mon, getting in there as well. So you have the interests of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in the subcontinent. Now, is the world large enough for all of them? Technically, yes. 6 people don't take up a lot of space. But human ambition is limitless. So you're going to probably have the Mughals moving in. You're going to have Jamie trying to push out Phoenix. Is it Phoenix, I assume? Phoenix. Trying to solidify Oman's hold there, and then you're going to just have them playing each other off each other. Probably Phoenix and Great Britain able to kind of keep the Mughals friendly, and the Mughals able to look towards the Netherlands and these other players to keep everyone honest as they gobble up the AI, and then eventually turn on each other and fight. So it'll be good. And let's see, word is that France will get ganked soon. I mean, I could see that. I would believe that. I'd believe that. I know we have, I mean, it does look like a lot of people are starting to build up some of their military forces. And they're all going west. Like, and I don't think it's just that old song, the old song from that one music group. They're like, go west. Toward the... But, I mean, France has got the manpower. So the question is, they'll probably reach out to France and say, hey, France, we'll want to work something out. Or maybe not. I don't know. That's the one thing. I don't know all the personalities behind each of the nations. But France is definitely on a war footing. Their armies are ready. Everyone else, I think, is just kind of building up cautiously. Just making sure that they aren't the next target of French aggression. And it looks like there might have been a white peace between Florence and the Knights. In fact, that is what it looks like. Alright, so they weren't able to... Florence wasn't able to grab Sicily. The Knights are still around, still able to survive. So we'll check them out. See what kind of... their war exhaustion is very high. And they do have some overextension, so it looks like maybe they've picked up some new territories out here. And then Florence, we jump to Florence. Their war exhaustion, much less, and no overextension. So it does seem like the Knights were able to pull out a victory there, potentially. Ooh, wait, didn't the Knights hold something over here? Or maybe, I think I'm just thinking of Florence. Whoa, that sounds like potential war. Alright, so let's just go through each war. So Arcanus at war with Aksum. And they are currently dominating Ethiopia. Or no. Oh, war just... Woo! Oh, Oman just grabbed a bunch of land. Looks like we just got here just in time. So they picked up a few more provinces. Oman have picked up a few more provinces, I believe. Let's double check that. Yes. Oh, yes. All right.